Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? It's Big E here, and we are on the Grindy Man.
Greetings.
There he is. That's the Ironman Paladin. Trying to get this ridiculous stuff done. What a long, strange trip it's been. Just ask Bob Weir. This is, of course, the Ironman Challenge, and this episode, we're heading back up to Fellwood. I was going to quest in Angura Crater, but Angura Crater's just too damn dangerous, honestly. So that's what we're going to do. I was talking to Stubby. He's on his Warlock, level 21. He says he's digging it so far. We were talking a little bit. He said they got him as well. He paid for the boost. They got a lot of us, and they know that they would. I still feel bad for doing it. It's hard to believe the greed, just that level of greed. It's hard to wrap your head around. You know, you're talking about a company that makes billions of dollars in straight up profit. Like, everybody's been paid. Expenses are covered, billions of dollars in profit. And they're, you know what I mean? Like, they could have charged $20 to do it and still would have made a killing. And I just feel like I contributed to it. Right? And I was thinking about this too. Because they drop the pre-patch and then very quickly they open up the portal, right? So it kind of makes people feel like, oh, I don't have enough time. I'm just going to pay for a boost. I think that's built in, but I don't know. Anyways, no sense of crying about it. I'm part of the problem. Yeah. Anyway, I just got through recording an episode, Project Ascension. I'm going to have 3 different characters on the Bronzebeard server, and we're going to be doing different things on those 3 characters, and I'm just going to rotate them. I recorded an update video, and I was going to put it out on the channel yesterday, but I just decided to get rid of it. There's a reason I decided to get rid of it. It was basically just letting you know about the schedule. It's changed again, a little health update. The possibility of live streaming, and then explaining a little bit of a rant that I did. All right, we got to go all the way back down here. We're going to go grind mobs in this area. I sure wish this was an inn. I really do. I sold some things on the auction house. Most of them didn't sell. Let's do another packet of seeds here. So we have 2 quests for the Morrow Grain seeds. One of them we finished, and one I turned in. I threw up. I flew up to Darnassus to do that. There's a little. We need 7 more. I'm hoping between the 21 seeds and these 18 Angura soils that we can do that. We'll see.
Ishnuala.
Ishnuala. I'm just going to sell those and those. These crystals, well, actually some of them sold. Looks like the blue one's sold. I'll try again there. Those are soulbound. Just get rid of those. That sungrass should sell. These wastewater pouches, just get rid of them. The Snickerfang jowls, I'll try to sell one more time. I gotta remember that's a place I can go back to as well.
Be careful.
I will. I will be careful. All right, let's roll down. Roll down to Funky Town. 52. Could we grind mobs right here? I'd rather them be green mobs. Knockdown, enrage, and low swipe. No. I can't say enough good things about Project Ascension. You guys are probably going to be sick of hearing about it, but I'm having so much fun. So, like I said, I've got 3 characters that I'm going to be alternating. So we've got Exabyte, a dwarf mage, and we're doing a challenge called Adventure Mode. What that means is every single mob in the game is an elite mob. So it's really tough starting out when you first start out. Pretty hard to do. Then I've got an Undead Hunter, because you can roll Hunter on Undead and Human. And we're just going to play that one straight with no trials, no hardcore part to it. And that way I can freely group up. We'll do some dungeons and, not sure how long we'll do that particular character, but I'm just checking it out, see what's available. And then I've recently rolled a human warrior, and we're in Goldshire, and we're doing the One Life challenge, which is kind of cool. And I've died 3 times in the starting zone already. I just got through recording the 4th. This last one looks more promising. There is an actual dungeon in Northshire on Bronzebeard. I don't know if it's like that in retail. I don't think so. I'm just super, super impressed. Oh. Yeah. Thanks, man. But I can't. I'm doing Ironman. Sorry, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I saw him standing there at the Songflower. He's probably like, what the hell is Ironman? That was cool that you let me know. Level 50? We can do this. I love the fact that if exploring pays off, if you explore the area you're in, you can find, like, weapons, rings, trinkets, you name it, neck pieces, just like lying. And if you click them, they bind to you, and you can, if you're high enough level to use them or whatever, you can equip them. It's fucking so cool, I think. All right, we've got some homemade cherry pie. Are you going to do a warrant joke, Eric? No. You sure? Seems like you're thinking about it. I'll just follow that up with saying horrible. Warrant sucks ass. Got any Warrant fans out there? Huh? Were you listening to Cherry Pie in the 80s? God, there were so many of those bands. Trickster, Poison. Da-da-da-dee-da-da. Grind after grind after grind after grind. Four minutes on the evergreen pouch. These things have enrage. Stay back there, man. Nice. Didn't really get to use that enrage against us. Level 52. I can't go in there. I mean, I could, but it'd probably be the end of the challenge. You got demons up here. I have exorcism. What level are these demons? I don't think I can deal with them. But exorcism makes a big difference. I can use it twice a fight. At least twice a fight. And we have a new rank of it. We have rank 5 now. It does 400 to 440 damage, roughly. Not including a crit, of course. I feel like they're at least 55 up here. $52. Nah, like, what am I doing? Nah. Today is Sunday for me. It's Sunday the 18th, and today I got a video uploading and I'm rendering a video. I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to get myself a workout, going up to the gym, but when I get back, I'm shutting the machine down. I've got my my little SSD NMVE little card. What the hell was that? It was a player on birds. It scared the shit out of me. Anyway, I'm going to pull my Windows drive out. I'm going to put this new blank drive in, and I'm going to configure Linux. I'll spend a couple hours, try to get as much of it going as I can. Could be a busy week, actually. I'm also, my neighbor Bruce and his wife Joanne, all of my grandparents are dead, but they're, Bruce and Joy are old enough to be my grandparents. They're really nice people. I help them out a lot with their computer, and I don't mind doing it. But the last time I was over there, it was just a couple of days ago. You know, we get to talking, and we're, you know, they're telling me about what's going on with them, and I'm talking about, you know, what's going on with me. And I told them, you know, I've got the Camaro parked out front, and you know, it's not working. So I was telling them, you know, I'm thinking about putting it in storage. There's a little storage place. It's actually a U-Haul place, but it's like this big yard, and I think you can store cars there, vehicles. It would just be outside, but it's already outside anyway, so I don't really care. But I was going to call anyways, tell him about all this. And anyway, I left, and I'm back over here, and I got a text message from Bruce saying, hey, Joanne just made a good point. He's like, why don't you just park the car in our backyard? Right? They have this big piece of property. It's all fenced in and stuff. He's like, just put it in the back corner. It's not going to bother us. So at first I was like, well, yeah, I don't want to, I couldn't do that. That's very nice, blah, blah, blah. I go, all right, let me think about it. Like, I really appreciate the offer. And then yesterday, he followed up. He's like, hey, you wouldn't have to pay rent or anything. Anyway, I thought it over. I was like, you know what, man, why not? Right? I can't really afford to pay rent at a place anyway. Plus, I'd have to get the vehicle there. So I took him up on it. So yesterday I went down. I walked over and he showed me the place. It's a perfect place. He goes, whenever you're ready. Look at these are people getting the, I'm assuming going for the buffs. They're all buffed up, man. Yeah, so anyway, I put the battery on trickle charge. I pulled the battery out of it. You want to do that if you're storing a car. It's charged up. It should be charged by now. I'm going to put the battery in the car maybe today. We'll see. But sometime this week for sure. And start it up and see if I can get it to drive over there. I mean, it's literally right next door. The problem is the transmission is fucked. It doesn't shift. You've got to shift it from underneath the car. You got to reach under and grab the linkage pin where the cable would normally come down. It's automatic. And force it into gear. And then I've got to jump up and jump in the car. It's not as dangerous as it sounds. I can set the brake and I can even chalk the wheels. And if I can just get it and drive it, shut it off immediately. However, there's another problem. I don't think it's got any transmission fluid in it. After the transmission went bad, I had parked it. I'd got it home. And later that week, I was out getting in my other car, and I noticed underneath of it, big dark spot under it. And it didn't look like oil. So I think a transmission seal failed. So I don't know. I got to think about it. I mean, I could put transmission fluid in it, obviously, probably just to drive it, the little distance into the yard. But I don't want transmission fluid leaking out all over the fucking place, right? That's not good. So what I would do, if I could get enough transmission fluid in it to where I could drive it quickly, I've got an oil pan that I could just put under it. That way it's not leaking, or throw a tarp under it or something. Cover it back up and then just figure out what I want to do with the thing. Been contemplating trying to save enough money to buy a rebuilt transmission and have somebody install it for me. If I did that, then the car would be fine. It'd be drivable. But more than that, it would be sellable. I could get a lot more money for it. Right now I've got it listed on Auto Trader for like $7,000. There's a reason it's $7,000. This guy needs to die, man. Pretty low there. Anyway, it's a lot to think about, a lot to do. Really cool of him. He was telling me the history of, like, the house that I live in. They used to own it. It was actually his wife's mother's house, and before that it was her mother, so like his wife's grandmother. I mean, this house is a couple hundred years old. Same with theirs. The property was huge. They used to own basically the whole block. Kind of interesting. I mean, I thought it was interesting. Level 50. Used to be horses. Used to be just a big field with horses in it. And as a matter of fact, as he was telling me this, I could see we were at the back of his property, and there was an old ass part of a wooden fence left with barbed wire. He didn't even know it was there. And I pointed it out to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, he's like, that shit's probably been there 200 years." Anyway, I probably should do that before I start messing with the computer, because if I start messing with the computer, I'm going to be in here all day. But I want to get off Windows fucking as quick as possible. I'm done with fucking Microsoft, man. I'm surprised they don't have a disease. I know that the wolves do. Nice. Alrighty. Where did that wolf come from? I didn't even see that one. Tendon rip. It's the same thing the Dimetrodons have. No, he chose not to disease me. There's another wolf there. Fucking hell. What the fuck? Oh, there's somebody else here. Okay. Somebody's beating the shit out of wolves, because that was weird. So what happened is I pulled, this one spawned, and then as soon as I finished killing this one spawned back. All right there in that little area. bring you out in the street. Yeah, I watched a documentary last night. I'd not seen it before. Called Becoming Led Zeppelin. I've seen other Led Zeppelin documentaries. I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan. Not as much as I used to be. It was interesting. They only covered... Well, I guess it makes sense based on the name of the documentary. They just covered the first two albums. And their first world tour, their second world tour. And then they went back to England because they got really shitty reviews from critics, which are a joke, man. Fucking movie critics, book critics, music critics are a complete joke. I mean, look at Rolling Stone with their 100 greatest guitarists of all time that came out like last year. What a complete fucking joke. But anyway, it was pretty good. I'd never seen some of the footage, and it was a very rare John Bonham of just a vocal interview. He didn't really do interviews. He died in 1980. Man. I'm a fan of all of their albums, but I do have a special place in my heart for that first album, the second album, the third album. Zozo too. The fourth album is called Zozo. And then there was Houses of the Holy, that fifth album. There was Physical Graffiti. Physical Graffiti, probably my favorite album. Just because of the time in my life when I was listening to that album. That album came out in 1975. I would have been 5 years old, but I listened to it in like 85, like 10 years later as a teenager, 15, 16. So when I was first starting to work out, and I would put that album on, just kind of disappear in it. But Jimmy Page, man, that guy, he basically engineered those albums, and it's pretty incredible. Anyway, if you're not a Zeppelin fan, you don't care. But it was interesting to see. You could go to a concert, you could see Led Zeppelin, you could see like 4 bands for like $5 ticket prices. Dude, you can't even get a small cup of water for $5 at a fucking event these days. Anyway, they weren't very good live, and I've even said that myself. But here's the thing. In the beginning they were, because this is before drugs, like heroin. Jimmy Page had a heroin problem, and once that shit started, he was sloppy, and you could tell. But the first 2-3 years of their concerts were pretty fucking good. Level 50. I also heard, I used to read, back in the 80s, the mid 80s, I would try to get my hands on anything I could. Led Zeppelin, whether it was a magazine, a VHS tape, whatever it was. And I remember reading an interview that Peter Grant was their manager. He came up with the name Led Zeppelin because the way that I heard it, he said the band went over like a lead balloon. And so Led Zeppelin that's how it came about. However, the documentary I watched last night, Jimmy Page said that Keith Moon actually came up with the name. If you don't know who Keith Moon is, he was the drummer for The Who. I'm more apt to believe that than what somebody said in a magazine or whatever, and it's got some validity because Jimmy Page, when that dude was 14, he was a studio musician. Very young, man. That's how talented that guy was. And if you don't know what a studio musician is, these are guys who are masters of their instruments. They can read music. They can make changes on the fly. They can go into a studio and play guitar. Like he played on the first Who album, I'm pretty sure. He played with Jeff Beck, obviously the Yardbirds. So he could go in, cold, sit down, never having played the music before, and just read, and was able to, play the rhythm guitar and then just make up a lead. That's what a lot of them did. So it makes more sense, especially since he played on Who albums. He played on a shit ton of albums too. There's that wolf back here. Getting a little bit wrecked here. Missed. Okay. Get healed up here. Also, let's do my evergreen pouch. Anyway, I'm just rambling on. There you go. Ramble on. That's a second record right there. Do we get anything? We do. I need 4 more. Fell off again, man. Okay, I'm going to unkeybind this because this is fucking me up. This isn't the first time. I'm going to we need to get rid of that and that. I can't. That's not good. It's happening because I'll do Shift button 3 to activate my Seal of Light or Crusader or whatever. And I think it's because the mouse is so sensitive. If I move it up, it's disabling the buff. Like it's this essentially it's the same thing as me clicking off of the buff. And it's been happening a lot. Can't have it, man. So we shouldn't see that again. Unless I mean, if I get dispelled, yeah, that's different. But we shouldn't see that happen anymore. Found a nice little grind spot here. And it's actually not too far away from the light point. I guess we could do the same thing here, but I feel like they were a little bit higher level there. I'm okay with the level 50. But I don't really want to fuck around with anything other than that. I used to know quite a bit of Zeppelin on guitar. How's it going, dude? You should be able to play the Rain song. It's got an interesting tuning to it. One thing I always wanted to learn how to play that I never got down was that Black Mountainside. And there's a couple of versions. I think it's called Brown Euro Stomp, something like that. I'm probably saying it wrong. But the tuning for that, he tunes his guitar. It actually sounds like a sitar. But a really cool sounding song. And I realize these days, man, like younger people, they probably never heard a Zeppelin song, right? Because nobody listens to the radio anymore. Right? They're just streaming their, they're streaming their top 10 of Spotify or whatever. I mean, I guess there's a chance you could hear it in a movie or something, but Zeppelin doesn't, they usually don't give rights away to their songs. And I'm kind of glad because I would hate to see it and hear it in some fucking shitty little teen scream movie or something. But back in the late 60s and even the early 70s, the disc jockeys, they would play a whole album side. Yeah, they'd play a whole fucking album side. You'd get a commercial, a word from the sponsor, and then they'd play the other side of an album. And then the disc jockey would be like, yeah, and you can see them live coming up at blah, blah, blah. Now, every song comes off the cookie cutter press. It's 2.5, 3 minutes. There's no lead guitar. It's just chorus. It's verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Pretty much it. That's it. To mix it up, I guess you go verse, verse, chorus. But there's just nothing. There's just nothing to it anymore. These guys are pretty close right here. Okay. That works. Let's get back here in case that one comes back. Zeppelin have live versions of songs that are nearly 20 minutes long. It's hard to believe. Dazed and Confused, they often way too far with that one. And that's because of the breakdown in that song. He uses a violin bow on the strings. That song has such a build-up to it. I remember it being described as like it was evil and fucking devil music. That was a thing for a long time. Ozzy Osbourne got the worst of that. Fucking ridiculous. I mean, you got to believe in the devil, I guess, for that to even strike a chord, right? Okay, that dropped off. I think I'm going to have to do this because we missed a little bit there. I'm completely out of mana. A little bit yikes right there. If we'd pulled that, bubble and run. How are we doing over here? 45 minutes. How much XP did we get? Not much. Not much, man. Oh my god, if we could just have one world buff. The mobs would go down surely twice as fast. I don't know, maybe not twice as fast, but a hell of a lot quicker. But we've come this far, not making any exceptions now. We have a gray back and gray shoulders and a gray helmet. Yeah. I think David told me this is the best white or gray item as far as a helm plate that you can get. It's this light plate helmet. And he said, I think he said it's like a set, essentially, the light plate, and it drops off of mobs. I would love to get one more piece, man. But maybe I could look it up. And, I mean, if I'm going to be grinding mobs, maybe we should be grinding mobs that can drop some of that stuff. Just because it's literally trash, the game views it as garbage, like just vendor shit. I don't know if it would there'd be like a loot table for it or something. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up. I'm going to get to the gym, and then I'm going to make a decision. Am I going to install Linux? Or am I going to try to move the car? I really should try to move the car first. It is a little bit chilly today. And I got to do quite a bit out there. Yeah, these are a little bit higher level here. Yeah. Can't get through the tunnel in Winter Spring until we're, you just have to be neutral. You don't have to be friendly with these things here. You can be, which opens up more quests, and I guess there's a vendor or something. You might be able to get some stuff. I don't know. I never really fuck with stuff like that. Let's get another packet. Hopefully we get some more marrow grain here. Wow, pretty lucky. Just need 2 more.
I am listening.
All right, we're going to go to... Oh, Alberdine's actually closer. Yeah, we'll go there.
Farewell.
Yeah, fairly well. All right, guys. I guess that'll do it for this one. Led Zeppelin stories. Sure. Thanks for hanging out with me. You guys and gals take care. The Iron Man and myself will catch you in the next episode.
Till we meet again.
Peace.